Hello people of the world, my name is Daniela and today we are going to be doing our makeup like this, trying to recreate a Viking look in honor of the mascot of my high school, Victor Early College High School. Our mascot were the Vikings, and although I don't have much school pride, the whole point of the series is to go through my high school experience. Hence, I need to pay an homage to our high school mascot. Did it make sense? No, because as you've learned in my past two videos, which I will link down below, or you can also check out the high school series or playlist I have going on up here. These series I've been going through each year of my high school experience. This is video number 3, which means today we'll be talking about my junior year. And while I'm talking about my junior year, I'll be trying to recreate this look, which I will achieve, hopefully, by using this dough color smooth quick drying liquid eyeliner. It is in the color, I don't know, gold. There is no name to it, it's just a strip. So using this liner and also this Too Faced Better Than Sex liner. And I mean, I already have a base on, so it shouldn't take long. All I'm going to try to do is copy what is on the picture. And through that, I will be also talking about my junior year. Before we get started, though, I want you to take a moment, press subscribe, press that like button, ring that bell, because this is a hobby of mine and it is way more fun the more people are engaging with my content. That way I know and get inspired about what things to try out next. Like I mentioned in the previous videos, I started high school in 2011 and I graduated in 2015. I went to Victory Early College High School, which essentially meant that I was obtaining my associate's degree at the same time as my high school diploma. So I went through my freshman year, which I'll link up here, my sophomore year, which I'll link up here, and now this is junior year. Let's get started with this makeup. Okay, so I think I'm going to start out with the chin. It seems very self-explanatory. I already have makeup on from being out and about earlier in the day, but I don't care enough to remove it and start all over. So we're just going to go on top of this. Remember, this is a practical woman channel. This is not about the high-end stuff. I'm not about the, I am not high maintenance. I am very much cheap, lazy, and not an expert in anything that I'm talking about today. So we'll start out with the chin. It looks pretty easy, just 2 black lines. But one tip though, I just said I'm not an expert, but here I am giving tips. When you are using makeup, or if you're doing art, coloring something, do not start out with your dark color. Start out with your light color, because that way, if you mess up, the black or the darker color can cover it. It is harder to cover up a darker color with a lighter color than it is a lighter color with a darker color. So if you're doing makeup, applying whites, neutrals, or like beige, or anything light colored, and it's going to be a project that requires blending or anything like that, make sure to start out with your whites and your lighter colors. That way, if you mess up, it's just easier to clean up with a darker color. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but you're welcome. So we're going to start out with this gold. And I'm gonna create 2 lines. And that is very subtle, so we might have to go in with actual makeup. By actual makeup, I mean powder. So, and I'm just gonna fill in that line that I made. In terms of a highlighter, I would give this a 1 out of 10. It sucks. It is so sheer. If you're looking for really pigmented liners, this doe color liner is a no. Which, I don't know. I don't like it, so I might return it. I just opened it, so we're going to start out with that. Then we're going to, and also when applying makeup, start out with your liquids, then put on your powders, because otherwise you're going to cause your makeup to look chalky or cakey, and you don't want chunks on your face, okay? So liquid, then powder. So now we're going to go with the black liner. Nope, that's the gold one. And this is a very old eyeliner. I would not be shocked if it's expired. I just don't have money to buy new, however much this eyeliner costs every 3 months. Because if you didn't know, the shelf life of makeup products often come in a little jar looking thing image. I can show you right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't have time to be spending this much money every 6 months on top of all the other shit I need to buy. So, expired makeup. Also, I say that while also understanding that I am incredibly fortunate with my genetics in terms of skin conditions. Besides the eczema that my lovely father gave me, my face is usually clear, but for those eczema patches that I get sometimes. Alright, so we got the chin. Then I think it would be easy to go in with the middle portion right here. Okay. So I'm going to start out with just a line right here. That's a stopping point. And then we're just going to go down the middle. All right. So going back to the high school thing, I don't remember much from junior year off the top of my head. I actually felt the need to go back and look at some of the posts that I made because I really didn't remember. During my childhood years, I used to keep a diary, but that kind of stopped in high school when I had all the other responsibilities going on. Because if you don't recall, I used to, actually, I don't know if I've mentioned it, I used to basically spend every after school in church because I was in band, which meant rehearsing needed to happen every day. And on top of that, my junior year, I joined Bible school. So I just didn't have time to keep a journal of any kind, a diary, whatever you want to call it. I did not have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So this is so sheer. You can barely see it. I had to go and refresh my recollection about that. Okay, I clearly cannot try to focus and talk to you guys at the same time, so I'm just gonna be pausing my makeup process to try to be able to do both at the same time. In terms of junior year with academics, there was a lot of pressure this year to start sending out applications. A lot of times on Fridays, we had what's called lab day for us. And during lab day, we would apply to colleges. It was a class designed to have you sit down and apply to colleges. I don't know if traditional high schools have that, but that is something that every Friday we would sit down and do that. Also, I failed to mention that as part of high school, to graduate, we also had to complete a certain number of community service hours. And the reason why everyone had to do that, I think now in retrospect, looking back, is because having community service hours really look good in your college application. I, of course, being the nerd that I am, you'll find out next video regarding senior year, I had double the amount of community service hours. In terms of tests, you know, the SAT, the ACT, the school had us sign up for those multiple times a year, and really we started practicing that freshman year. So we had taken many mock SATs, mock ACTs, but junior year was when we started actually taking them, and there would be like field trips to the location so that we could take this test, or the test I think was taken in our building. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. But if you went to high school with me, just comment down below because I don't remember. Also, junior year was when they started to give us a lot more freedom because we didn't need as many hours or credits to graduate anymore. In terms of friendship dynamics, like I said, junior year was a year that they started to give us a lot more freedom. And a lot of us had to go to what was called the main campus, which was about 35 minutes away. And we would, because we had college classes that weren't available on our current building, because like I said in the previous video, Victory was on the top floor and Lone Star College was on the bottom floor. It was a branch of Lone Star College system. And the main campus was the one that was about 35 minutes away, North Harris campus. So a lot of us that had college classes would have to be dropped off or drive to Victory campus in the morning, get on a bus, and then the bus would take us to North Harris for the college classes. So a lot of us had more freedom. And that's when my high school friend group started forming, in a sense. It wasn't mine. It was just a lot of us knew, let's say I knew one person, that person knew another person. So we just started a friend group. And that is how my high school bestie and I became friends, because we had to sit together to go to Lone Star and then back in the afternoon. So the people that were riding together to the main campus usually had similar or the same classes together, because we needed those credits to graduate both from high school and college. So I spent a lot of time with my bestie, and that's how I realized that we were actually very similar, which is why we didn't like each other. But we began to be cool, and I think for like a little bit I might have had a crush, That's when my little Vanny in the little closet was like, ooh, trying to grab my attention, but because of Jesus, that did not exist. That was the devil tempting me. Okay, so now we're going to go in with powder. And we're using the Galaxy Chic palette from BH Cosmetics, which I learned recently was discontinued. It's no longer being made. I don't know. I couldn't find a link to it anymore, but these were my favorite. Also, another expired palette. The life of this is 24 months, and I've had this since 2018. We're gonna go in with this color. We're just gonna pat it on. Same thing with powders. You start with the light powders and then move to the darker powders. I think I can definitely see the difference between the powder on top and nothing, because to me it just looks sharper. Okay, so that's when I became friends with JP, O, Becky, and he and Tommy. That's how I became friends with them. It was junior year for the most part. Like, I knew them a little bit here and there, but that's really when I started getting my group of friends really solidified. I was friendly with everyone though, but I would say those were like my ride or die in high school. I didn't belong to any extracurricular clubs. Like I mentioned in previous videos, there was no extracurriculars, but I was very much I was in science fair, and junior year was when I joined Phi Theta Kappa. I think that's when I joined Phi Theta Kappa. And also when I joined the Honor Society, and when I joined the Voices. The Voices were the recruiters for the high school. So I would go to middle schools and try to get 8th graders to apply. I've always been passionate about helping other people break their generational curses, helping first generation college students, helping first generation Americans to better themselves and to move forward. That is why I was very excited to be a voice and try to recruit other kids. I didn't mention that Victory really sympathized with first generation college students, and they tried to, like, our population or the kids that they accepted were kids who they deemed were overcoming hardships, or that they were helping overcome hardships. They really prioritized first generation college students in their acceptances. Okay, I do not have black shadow, so I cannot set the black liner. It was at this point that my memory card got full and I had to switch to my phone, and I failed to realize that the angles were a little wacky, so I'm sorry about that. But please keep watching. I had to go greet my really confused boyfriend who just woke up from his nap. He thought he was dreaming for a moment. Junior high school, NHS, sorry, the Voices, and also started to form my friend group. I wasn't in any clubs, but I was in science fair. But I think we were all required to at least make an attempt at science fair. I don't remember, actually. And I remember specifically for science fair, we were supposed to take pictures, I think. And my parents had recently bought me an iPad, I think for my birthday or something, and I took a picture of this caterpillar because iPads back then were the most high quality, non-professional camera available, and I had just gotten it, and I happened to take a picture of a caterpillar, and everyone appeared to love it. If I can find a picture, I'll post it somewhere up here. Did not go to junior prom. I thought the idea of spending money on 2 proms was just too much, so I didn't. But also, I didn't have anyone to go with. I did not have a job during junior year. I am pretty sure I applied to a lot of places and no one wanted me. So I just continued to apply to places. I wasn't in any official relationships my junior year. I had decided at the time to focus on God and be abstinent. There were field trips, and the majority of our field trips were to colleges. So I do remember going to one of the colleges. I don't remember the name, but we would always just take cool pictures and hang out with our friends. Because once we arrived at the college, we were kind of let to do our own thing. We were released and we were let to go wherever we wanted, and we would just chill and take pictures and have fun. Something else that happened junior year is I went to Camp Enterprise. It was a very elite thing for specifically juniors in high school, and you would have to apply to go to this, and they would only pick a couple for one junior student for high school, and I was one of the ones chosen to go to this camp, and I don't remember learning anything. But I do remember they split us into, we had roommates, and my roommate played the guitar, and I remember as part of our group exercises, we had to do a song, and she had brought her guitar, and we played this song that was kind of a remix of a bunch of songs that used the same 4 chords, and or maybe 2 chords, I don't know, but the one portion that I remember specifically is because it was a group of 4 or 5, and we each had our line we had to sing, and my part was, and you will be loved, and you will be loved, and then someone would pick up from there. That was terrible. I'm like whisper singing, and I haven't necessarily practiced or rehearsed in a really long time, so forgive me if I sound like shit. Let's go through some high school posts that I made back when I was a junior. Something I haven't talked about in any of my videos is that every summer, including the summer before freshman year, we were assigned reading assignments in which we had to read like 6 or 7 books, I think, or maybe 2 books. I don't know. We had to read books and write and reflect on them during the summer. We had to write like 6 essays during the summer. Oh, you know what it was? I think that while in high school, every year or every Friday, we were each given vocabulary quizzes, and we would compete, like each grade would compete against each other to see who had the highest scores. And per JP, these quizzes were meant to help us practice for the SAT. August 2nd, 2013. That was my first post of the year. Who wants to revise or edit my first essay? I'll return the favor. That was seen by 7 people, commented by 8. And that's another thing that I remember about these essays. We needed to include bibliographies. I hated doing those. September 17, 2013. Once again, I posted a victory vocab list. Robust, ruminate, ruse, sacrosanct, sadistic, sagacious, salacious, salient, salve, sanctimonious. Out of all of those, I think that the only one that I would use in my everyday vocabulary is sadistic. That post was seen by 6 people and liked by 6 people. October 16, 2013. Victory vocab number 5. Soliloquy. Solipsistic. Soluble. Solvent. Somnolent. Sophisticated. Sophistry. Sophomoramic. Sophoric. Spartan. Spacious. Study. LOL. We can't let the class of 2016 beat us. I say, out of all these words, I still know soluble, solvent, sophisticated. That was seen by 4 people and liked by 4 people. November 1st, 2013. Don't forget y'all's manila folders. I assume on that day we had a quiz or a test in which we were required to bring our own manila folders. I think it might have been Mr. Nunn, but I don't remember. Mr. Nunn was our math teacher, favorite teacher. Sorry, everyone. He was just super cool, and I never felt like I was walking on eggshells. That was seen by 3 people and liked by 3 people. The manila folders were like 9 exclamation points important. Something else that I remember from junior year was that I was in charge of coordinating our class sweatshirts. Y'all remember the sweatshirts? I'll post a picture of those sweatshirts. You know, I left my sweatshirt Thanksgiving 2015 at the airport on my way to CJP in New York. That was a very disappointing day. December 5th, 2013. Okay guys, we will start asking if y'all want a sweatshirt. It'd be awesome if we get more than 50% of the class to buy one, since the whole point of this is to have something as class. Just in case y'all forgot, this is the design that won. The price range is from $27 to $35. We can't give an exact price until we know the exact number of buyers. We understand money might be scarce, but please try to buy one. Thanks. I've always hated asking people for money, but unfortunately, this economy, it's a necessity sometimes. That's why I'm asking you guys, please like, comment, and share, subscribe. I didn't realize how many leadership roles I would take. Now I feel like I'm very laid back. I don't know. If you're in my everyday life now, please correct me if I'm wrong. That was seen by 2 people and liked by 2 people. January 4th, 2014. Have any of you worked on the physics review? I don't remember anything about physics, but what I do remember is that our teacher was pregnant, and then for the longest time we had substitutes while she was out on maternity leave, and we had some strange substitutes. You know, one time during the roll, someone called me Vanilla. My name is Daniela. That was seen by 10 people. It had 9 comments. Someone commented, physics review, LMFAO. I would consider her the bully of the class. Comment below who you think that might be. Just kidding. Don't do that. February 2nd, 2014. Is the vocab quiz for physics over all the vocab? Because this short-term memory girl cannot remember the rest. Give me a narrowed list, please. That was seen by one person that said, what vocab quiz? And no, it's only for the top shaded part. There's no vocab quiz. And why are you telling me what the vocab quiz is about? March 2nd, 2014. Okay, so the last thing I heard was that only chapter 13 review and assessment was due Monday, Tuesday, and can anyone confirm this? I think that's still regarding physics, which I have zero memory about. I saw that on the board, so I will confirm it. May 12, 2014. I know we're all busy, but it's time to choose our class officers. I'm not doing this to win points or anything, but I want our senior year to be memorable. I would like to point out the fact that we must, as individuals, let Mrs. Gadsden know if we would like to nominate someone to run as class officer. Please, let us be wise on who we nominate. We need people that are capable and willing to devote their time and lead our class. I understand that we will get the urge or pressure to nominate our friends, but be aware of their strengths and weaknesses before you do so. Also, there might be a couple of you who would care less about all this, and I understand. But please don't make careless decisions. As a class, we appreciate it. Thank you. Love y'all. I had a huge stick that was liked by 4 people. Surprised no one commented. Ugh, I just want to throw up looking at that. June 7th, 2014. Do any of y'all have Angel Forward for government? I don't know who Angel Forward for government is, but it had a lot of comments. I still don't know who he is. That was my junior year. Let me know if this triggered any memories and comment down below what those might be. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things you need to do. This girl needs some mechanic money. You know, I just spent $800 last week fixing my car. I cried. I cried. That's the type of economic situation we have right now. Do all those things and just one more video left. I will see you there.